What is going on, guys? It is Adam, a.k.a. Marf, and this is Marfoogle News. All right, before we get started, I just want to let you guys know nothing in this show should be considered medical, legal, or financial advice. The views of the callers can differ considerably and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of myself, Dex, or anyone else on the show. You should always do your own research and consult with professionals. The internet is full of fake news, so please take everything with a grain of salt. All right. What is happening, folks? It is Adam, a.k.a. Marf, and this is a live show. We are Marfoogle News, and we're about to cover a whole lot of stuff, including earthquakes, of course, asteroids, and, of course, foreign affairs. So a lot of things going on right now. Last night, we had horrible problems with our camera, so we got all of that fixed, thankfully, and it ended up being about a $7 cord, so... That is really, really great compared to, a $1,000 camera or something like that. So that was good to find out. My name is Adam. This whole show is going to be backed up and archived on our website. If you have never been here before, you can, of course, go to the website and find everything there. In fact, it's very easy to navigate if you go to this thumbnail. Sorry about that. If you go to this thumbnail, you will see that right on the main page. You will be able to click it, and you'll see every document, every single picture, video, caller, article is all backed up there, so you know exactly where your news is coming from. We'll just click on Shaky Ground, ready to strike, Ring of Fire, and you'll see everything there. On top of that, all of this will be updated live on the show. You are watching live, you're able to comment and, of course, be a part of the show interactively. You can also grab a second device and read along if you'd like, or retrospectively go back. If you hear a caller you like, the second they call in, if they do have a YouTube channel or something like that, it is added there live by Dex, our tech guy. Speaking of Dex, our tech guy, and my internet brother, my co-host with the most boast, what is going on?
Most boast. Well, hello, Adam, and hello, Foogle fam. I'm doing good. I like that shake, rattle, and roll music you had.
Yeah, it was a little techno. I don't do techno, but I just threw it together before the show. As far as the news, we're going to get right into it. I'm going to say hi to the chat here in just a second. But first off, NZ, which we can't even say NZ after that event that happened a couple of years ago, is actually got hit by a 7.3 magnitude. Now, as of the taping of this show, of this live show, this may have changed. They often upgrade it the next day or downgrade it. It was a 7.3 as far as this was concerned, and it was a huge earthquake, and it was shallow. It says a powerful 7.3 magnitude earthquake struck off the coast of NZ today, triggering a tsunami threat on the coast of the Pacific nation. It also says that NZ emergency officials have issued a tsunami warning. And that this was actually headed towards Hawaii and other places. Now, do we have an update on all of this? Because it does take hours for some of these things to hit. We were, of course, watching the buoys earlier. In fact, one of our Foogle fam, Ileo, was talking with my wife about it, watching all of the activity that was going on. In fact, the buoys were, activity every 15 seconds. Or if it's less than 15 seconds, the thing goes red and white and blinks and does all of its hoodads. Do we have a complete and utter update for this?
As far as the Hawaiian one and the one in NZ, I believe they've been called off now. At least they've settled down. But there was actually, and since this article was written, there was two. So there's the 7.4 or 7.3, 7.4, and an 8.1. So basically, that area just got hit hard repeatedly today.
And this 8.1, speaking of which, struck in the ocean off of the coast, and then, of course, prompting thousands of people to evacuate, triggering tsunami warnings across the South Pacific. The quake was the largest in a series of tremors that struck the region over several hours, including 2 earlier quakes registering 7.4 and 7.3. So this is giant. To put that in perspective, 7.3 from the difference between that and an 8.1, it magnifies exponentially. So that 8.1 was extremely powerful. 8.1, if an 8.1 hit in, say, a city like Seattle, well, let's take this for instance. If that 7.3 hit Seattle, we would have lost our waterfront. In fact, the whole waterfront would have collapsed, according to actual simulations and infrastructure tests that they've done. This was when we had the viaduct in Seattle. It's a very famous skyline where we had this viaduct going, this basically this concrete 2-way roadway stacked on top of each other. They did simulations because we had the Nisqually, which was a 6.3. They said even if it was a 7.0 and lasted about 60 seconds, because the higher magnitude, the longer the earthquake lasts, we would have lost our whole waterfront. Our whole waterfront would have collapsed. We're actually built on top of the old city. In fact, old Seattle burnt down, the Great Fire of 1907, and then they just built the new Seattle on top. So places like Seattle are going to be an absolute disaster when we get the Cascadia subduction zone, which is not even this small. In fact, it's going to be over a 9 magnitude earthquake. It's basically guaranteed a 9, which is one of the few instances where when that happens, they do know what magnitude, or at least what magnitude it's going to be, because it's happened in a regular interval about every 240 years. It's now been 320, so we're about 80 years overdue. So even if you're in New York, you will feel this earthquake. They say that you'll feel it up to 3,000 miles away. That's huge. This was also giant. These were big. This is something that can very well trigger earthquakes all over the world in different times, and it could have an antipode on the other side of the planet. This could cause an Oregon earthquake. Now, looking at the latest USGS, there's a lot of activity going on. Of course, the Ring of Fire is on fire right now. So there are good channels to watch. I highly suggest going over and watching, of course, Dutch Sense. Dutch Sense is a great one to follow. BP Earthwatch is our good friend. And, of course, Wages World does a lot of the solar activity. We just had a lot of solar activity in the last week. So is it connected? I'll leave that up for you. If you feel like telling us your opinion, you can put it in the comments below. That's only after you check if your like button is broken. All right, there's plenty that are rolling into chat. Thank you all for joining us. Let's see. Trenton is here, Trent Man. And then we've got Kelly Henson. We've got Green Bay Lady. Thank you for being here. Noah Michael, Randy Simmons. Really, it's been a minute since I've seen you. Todd Best, Renfred, Tinfoil Hat. We, of course, have Jenny X or Jenny Texas. And then, of course, Someone Special 88, Tinkerman. We've got Monograph Live. How are you doing? Hey. And then Silent. Let's see here. Ria Gestu. Amu Ashish. And we've got Angel Webster. I think that went by so fast I might have said that wrong. Thank you, and thank you. It really is appreciated that we have this audience and we have a platform to speak on still. So far. Speaking of which, there was some big ones, or at least some, I wouldn't say big ones, ones that we need to be paying attention to at the very end of the Cascadia subduction zone. This line right here, this is a very important one. This is the Cascadia, this is basically the Cascadia subduction zone right here. This is the Juan de Fuca, where it meets up with the North American plate. So this is a huge deal. So to put this into perspective, this is Washington, this is Oregon, this is California down here. This kind of earthquake will be such a massive earthquake that you will feel the same earthquake, maybe a matter of a couple seconds later, in Seattle as you will in parts of Oregon. So you're talking about hundreds of miles away, upwards of 700 miles away, you will have the same 9.0 earthquake. Whereas normally, there's an earthquake in Seattle, even a couple towns over, say in Tacoma, you wouldn't feel it as much. It would go way down as it progressed. This is on a whole different scale because this is the actual tectonic plates shifting and snapping. And then when they snap out in the water, what happens is it finally goes, and by the way, they said it's just stopped. There's no movement, which is bad. Once it snaps, it displaces 700 miles long of all of the land that all that water is on top of. It has the force enough to smack that water up. Now, what happens is that water then goes up and then fills back in and sends the largest wave you've ever seen. It's a guaranteed tsunami when the Cascadia subduction zone has a full margin rupture. It is going to make history. It's going to make people history. On the West Coast, it's going to do far more damage than what they say. They estimated about 15,000 people will die. And when people hear that 15,000, that's not that bad. When you look at earthquakes like the Indian earthquake in 2004 or Boxing Day, that one took out 250,000 lives, and that was partly because of the structures, what it actually happened, and where people were living, and how flat it was, and it just went in and it creamed everything, right? Japan is one that you would compare to what they say will happen here, right? Japan, about 15,000 people perished in that earthquake, in the tsunami, which, if you remember, in 2011 was very famous. There's images stuck in my mind. I don't know about you, but I know exactly where I was when I saw the clips of it because it was so dramatic. It looked like something out of a cataclysmic movie. It was unbelievable. You saw as, these huge tanker ships were just getting thrown about like they were Tinker Toys, like they were bath toys. You saw, cars just being flatlined. I mean, it was insane. And that, of course, is how many people they say will perish here. Now, Japan is one of the most prepared places in the world. They are not only one of the most proactive cultures, like, hey, this will help our grandkids, but it's not going to help us at all. Let's write a check because we care about our grandkids and we're going to do this and we're going to make this safer for them. Even though it won't even have a benefit for 100 years, they will do that. That is something that we have seen proof of. They will write a check and they will improve things for future generations. It's in their culture. Whereas the U.S. and other countries, we are reactive, so we don't want to spend the money unless it's broken, right? But that is the big problem here. This is something that is very big to me, and I hope that people understand that this will be the largest event the United States sees outside of, say, a full power grid down situation, outside of, say, an asteroid smacking right in the middle of the country, or Yellowstone going off. I don't think there's anything that can compete with this. Even San Andreas is a smaller zone than this. A lot of people don't know that. They think San Andreas, because they've seen the movie with The Rock, is, this big thing. San Andreas very well could be triggered when the Cascadia subduction zone goes. So imagine it stops right at the top of the California, the Cascadia, which goes from Canada. This back line here goes all the way from Canada down to the very beginning of California. Then there is, of course, the San Andreas that keeps going. Now, we know for a fact, and I talked to Chris Goldfinger, the lead seismologist, one of the lead seismologists on the Cascadia subduction zone. He has his own TED Talk. He, in fact, was the one on the New Yorker article that made it famous. Nobody even knew about this 30 years ago, and just a couple of years ago, it went out to the mass public. Nobody was talking about it. Chris Goldfinger would have said, and again, I asked him, I said, could this trigger something like Yellowstone or trigger something like San Andreas? Because these are plates so big that this is the kind of earthquake that can make mountains in a single 5-minute period. He said 20 years ago, we would have said you were crazy. And by we, he meant all of us. And he said all of my colleagues would have said, no, that's not possible. Now, Science has changed, and they know for a 100% fact that a big earthquake like this, or Japan, or say the Boxing Day earthquake, can and will cause earthquakes even on the other side of the planet. So this could very well start off a whole chain reaction. Not to mention all of the nuclear sites that are along this line. Not to mention all of the infrastructure, all of the critical things that are there. This is a big deal. So, just a refresher course if you're new here and I haven't talked about it yet. I've been working on a project on this for a long time, and this is one of the things that I feel like I know the most about. Again, it happens every 240 years on average. We are now at 320 years. Last one was in the year 1700. We are now in 2021. That is 321 years since we had the last one. So I hope that people realize 21 states are preparing, including Arizona actually preparing for people to be walking from California. That's how serious this will be. So, move on, but again, everybody keep their plans ready. And I hope if something happened to happen tomorrow or the next day or next week, and somehow you were able to prepare in the next few days because of this show, then I hope you do. Because when the CV happened, we actually warned you upwards of 3 to 4 months before, an entire month, telling you that we got information that we were going to have this thing. And then it happened. And guess what happened? A lot of our viewers had supplies. They had toilet paper. They had food. They had water when all of the grocery stores were bare. So same thing with this. There is no downside to prepping other than the money it takes to actually do it. And we suggest a bunch of great channels like Alaska Prepper. Every 2 weeks does a payday preps. He actually takes his real payday from his job and he spends it affordably on preps. And this is what everybody needs to do. If you prep for this earthquake and something else happens, that's a double positive. If you prep for the earthquake and an asteroid hits, that's a positive. If you prep for this and a tornado hits, that's a positive. Anything can happen, and that was the point of our state groups, which are no longer there because of BS. So just remember that. That is the point of this whole channel. All right, let's go over Hidden Hope. I don't even know what that emoji is, but it looks cool. Who are the 21 states preparing? Basically, our entire west half of the country. And in fact, we've given you the all of the articles on a previous show, and they're all archived on our website. But just to give you a short example, because that's a really good question. Zona preparing for the big one. Legislation and money is being put. This is how we can find a lot of the stuff that's going on, is they're putting money into FEMA and other agencies to prepare for this. All these different states, and you're like, well, why is a state way over here getting prepared for an earthquake that's going to happen on the West Coast? Well, because they know it's bigger than what they say. One thing that we do have, and that's a solid connection that was at FEMA and military mixed. They said that they were expecting this a couple years ago. And they said when it happens, you will have no time. You basically get your bag and you go. Again, right here, Baltimore Sun, Sandy Goons, Fox 10 Phoenix. Arizona makes preparations in the event of a catastrophic big one. And you're like, well, Arizona's nowhere near that, right? This is exactly what I'm talking about. So later on in this, in fact, Dex, I don't know if we can connect this on here, but there's actually links in, I believe, this article or the Sunday one, where you can go to the other states that are preparing for this. Look at this. Okay. What we simulated in that exercise is a large-scale earthquake that occurred in Southern California that would spur the migration of many people evacuating California into or through Arizona. They actually expect, because of the infrastructure that will not be there, people will be walking. Last time I said that, they're like, no, surely you don't. Do you realize how far it is, Adam? Yes. That's the scary part. And it makes me think of the Denver airport mural of all of those people where you've got the guy with the mask with the big sword, and then you've got that line of people, and some of them have luggage, and they're all walking sad like nomads. That's what we're going to see when this happens. That's how epic this is going to be. If you want to call in, this is a call-in night. You can call in. This is a live show. If you have a story about earthquakes, or if you have information that we all need to know, give us a call at 2244-00-MARF. That is, again, 2244-00-6273. The number is going to be down here. And make sure to press option 4. You will get right through to Dex. So I hope people are prepared for that. Then we have historic drought deepens in the west as a window for rain and snow closes. The year 2020 is going to be remembered for a lot of things, many of them not so good, including in the not so good list is the drought that has plagued the West, lasting into 2021, according to the U.S. Drought Monitor, which has published weekly maps on drought since 2000, or drought. And it says the 2020 drought is the worst in terms of its geographical scope in 20 years. One expert said that it was biblical, this drought. And then, of course, we are talking about worldwide famine is predicted in our lifetimes, where there is no food. That is why you hear people like Gilly Bates talking about we need this meat, or this fake artificial meat, right? They're gonna step in and be the hero, but at the same time buying all of the farmland so people can't use them for farming meat. Weird stuff. It says almost 80% of the western U.S. is in drought, with nearly 42% of the region in extreme or, quote, exceptional drought. Much of the region saw developing drought in the summer following a warm and dry spring. Since then, conditions have deteriorated, so they've gotten worse, and the precipitation deficits continue to build. At its maximum extent in January of 2021, 47% of the West was in extreme drought or worse. Nearly a quarter of the area was in the worst drought category, an event with the probability frequency of only once every 50 to 100 years. So it's almost like this last couple of years we've seen almost everything that only happens 100 years. Just to remind you, there's a lot of things that have happened every 100 years, and there's another one that is on its way as well. Speaking of which, if you guys want to protect yourself against a natural solar flare, there is basically one company I would think of, and that would be Emp Shield. Not only does it protect you against a Carrington-type like event, it can also protect you against a man-made EMP threat. In fact, all three phases of an EMP, E1, E2, and E3, not only would you be protecting yourself, you'd be getting a discount doing it and helping the channel. Emp Shield is a company that is not only contracted with companies like DHS, DOD, but now they are officially on the DEMSO team helping protect the Texas grid. Marfooglenews.com/EMP if you would like to support the show and support yourself and protect yourself. It also protects your house against lightning, so there is a normal use for it as well. It will ground the signal before it fries your device. They have different devices for different machines, including your car. These are the easiest to put in. They take about 5 minutes to put in, and you won't be stuck out in the middle of nowhere if an EMP or a Carrington-like event happens. Depends on what model car you have, but I would definitely look into that, especially if you have actually prepared and then you get stuck somewhere and can't even get home or bug out because your car is fried. All right, again, that is marfooglenews.com/EMP. Thank you guys in advance for supporting us, and thank you for going through us. But if you don't go through us, go through one of our friends or go through a different creator. That's how much we suggest it. All right, Dex, let's get our first caller here in a second. I'm going to pull up the stuff, and then I will, in a second here, we're going to talk about the God of Chaos asteroid to pass by Earth this week. Of course, talking about Apophis. And Apophis is a whole nother bag. Let's see here. I'm going to open up something real quick for you guys. We've got Team Ramrod, Sunny Beach Girl, Space Latum, For the Glory of Christ is in the house. Team Ramrod, Todd Best, Island by the Sea, Maui Racing Realtor, Della W, Godfather, thank you guys. And then I'm going to pop over. Shook Mike, thank you. Says, we are in Revelations. Once our money goes digital, the chip is coming. Mark of the B. It says, God bless you, be safe, and read Revelations. I have, and it's pretty scary stuff. Linda Sloat, thank you for your support. Says, love sent to you and Dex. Sandy Bollinger, Granny C, thank you so much for your support. Love to the Foogle fam. Lori G, thank you so much. Love you, Adam and Dex. Keep up the great work. And Michelle Bybee, finally got the live show. I have tomorrow off. Love you guys and the fam. Well, Michelle, I hope you stay up and watch the whole thing. Let me pop this open. Dex needs to be able to communicate with me in the background. Martin Benjamin, thank you for your support tonight. We have Andrea. Dex, can we get Andrea on? Andrea.
Hi, Adam.
Hi, you're live on Marfoogle News.
How are you doing?
I am doing fantastic. So, you want to talk about prepping and you started a channel, it looks like.
Yes, I did. I only have a 16-second short on there right now, but it is, you guys have changed my life. And so the 2 Christmases ago, I guess, I made like a starter prepping kit for every person in my family. And they loved it so much that they asked me to do that again for last year. So I added on to it, and people have been telling me I need to start a channel. So that's what I'm doing. And I'm doing it so that people know how to prep on a budget. And I went to Dollar Tree and I got stuff for medical and I've got stuff for food, and I'm going to separate everything so that, yep, that's me. So that people know that it's not super expensive. They can do it on a budget. They can, pick stuff up cheap and still be able to survive whatever happens.
Well, and that's exactly what we're trying to say. Alaska Prepper is a good example of that. He always does a great job of getting so much for so little, and people think that it costs thousands of dollars to prep. You can. It's just like anything, any kind of some almost consider it a hobby. Anything that is considered something that's not a necessity, they'll overcharge for. So like there's companies that will sell the same 20-pound bag of rice for 5 times as much because it says, long shelf life or this or that, when you can get that same long shelf life rice. They'll put something on there to make it niche. Just like in audio, you'll get a little adapter, and if it's for audio, it's 10 times more expensive. Like HDMI adapters, it's like if it's called streamers adapter, it'll be 10 times more, but it's the same HDMI adapter that you get with your stupid TV. But my point is like there's ways to go around that and to actually prep, and people need to prep. Whether you believe me or not, you need to do the research. We're all going to have some extreme event happen to us in our lifetimes. That's just how it works.
Absolutely. I mean, where I'm at, tornadoes, because I'm in the Midwest, tornadoes are very prevalent. We get storms, we get winter storms, summer storms. you never know when the power's going to go out.
Exactly.
And, what happens then?
Well, obviously, this is something I've encouraged for a long time. I hope that people end up love mobbing you, and I hope that you actually put the effort and the time into it to let it breathe. A lot of people start channels, but then they don't get the results that they want right away, and they stop. There is something to be said about don't ever think about subscribers, because each subscriber is a human being. So even when I would get 1 or 2 and I had 7 and then I had 8. In fact, Kenneth H is like my 5th subscriber. He still hangs around. There's some people that were in my first 20. I still talked like if I did now and when I had nobody. So just think of that. And then hopefully the Foogle fam can come over and get you to 1,000 subscribers. 1, because it can actually help you monetize. But 2, after the NZ event after a couple of years ago, you cannot live stream unless you have 1,000 subscribers, or at least live stream from your phone, which I think if you're doing anything, especially if you're starting out, you most likely have to do a lot of stuff from your phone. Well, thank you for calling in tonight. Is there one more thing you want to say before you go?
Yeah, I want to shout out Mrs. Dex. She doesn't get enough credit because just like Mrs. Marf, if it wasn't for her, he wouldn't be able to do what he does. So I wanted to shout out both women. I
think you are the first person that has done that. I actually thought you were like messed up. Which one? Yeah. No, I get you. Behind every good man is a woman, and behind every good woman is somebody who's asking for help. So.
And thank you for your Amazon link, because I support you as much as I can through Amazon.
Oh, well, thank you. And again, we'd only ask you to do that if you do that already. Well, is there? We're going to be linking your channel, and everybody will be able to get to your channel there. I'm going to refresh, and then I'm going to check in on you at the end of the show. We'll see where the preparation station has got. So if you want to leave a comment on her first video, March 1st, 2021, I'll go over and say hi, and then I'll go over and look at the comments after the show. Well, thank you so much for calling, and you have a great night, okay?
Thank you. You too.
All right. God bless you. Bye-bye. And then let's refresh and see how many of you went over. It's pretty. It really is amazing when we do the love mobs and it works. Look at that. Almost to 100 subscribers in about 30 seconds. That is the Foogle fam right there. I really hope that everyone goes and supports. If you're new, which we did get a lot of new people this week, I hope that you understand that we're pushing each other up and we're not tearing each other down. That's the entire point. All right, and then we've got God of Chaos asteroid to pass by Earth this week. It says the asteroid Apophis, nicknamed the God of Chaos, will pass by Earth on Friday. Named for the Egyptian deity and scientifically known as 99942 Apophis, which, by the way, is 666 upside down, which is super creepy. It says the more than 1,000-foot wide space rock will skate past the blue marble at around 8:15 p.m. Eastern, traveling at a distance of about 10 million miles away. So, of course, it's not going to hit us, but they actually say if you have the right equipment, or if I don't know if I believe they said that you can possibly see with the naked eye, depending on the conditions. But again, this is going by us. Remember that they said that this was possibly going to hit us in 2029. And then a few years later, they said, oh, we were mistaken. And now that we've been tracking it longer, it's not going to. But at that same point, it was about 2017, 2018. Then all of a sudden, we had Space Force. We had Bennu. We had Osiris-Rex. We had the designing of DART, which is, of course, double impact asteroid redirection test. Hammer, hypervelocity asteroid and mitigation emergency response vehicle, basically a nuke on a rocket. All of those things came into play. China actually created their lasers to shoot space junk out of the sky, then said that it would be used for asteroid defense. Russia did the same. Russia wants to put a laser on the moon. Of course, you had China saying that they, well, now not even saying, they did. They've now created an artificial moon that they say when everything is done, it's going to be brighter than street lights, and they're going to put it up in place of these street lights at night. So you're talking about in China, you're going to have this kind of fake satellite moon up in the sky that's going to light up the entire sky. Now you have, of course, them saying that they're going to make an artificial sun as well. You're like, why are they doing all of this? Are they predicting that, I don't know, maybe our whole sky is going to be covered with some sort of dark substance? It's kind of weird, like, say a cloud that circles around the Earth, or say a nuclear cloud or an asteroid cloud or something that kicks up dust around the Earth and darkens everything. I don't know. What are the ghost cities for? What are all these things for? Just saying, I like to ask questions. What about you? Now, let me ask you this, and most of you know about the ghost cities. If you don't know about the Chinese ghost cities that have replicated all of these different places around the world, including Paris, with a micro Eiffel Tower. They've replicated all of these famous structures. They've replicated the pyramids, all sorts of stuff. And it's not a Las Vegas. It's not like a mini Las Vegas or something. These are just houses and places that they want to look like these areas. Let me ask you this, and again, a lot of you are going to be Googling it that haven't seen these, and it's very creepy. There's hundreds of thousands of units that are not rented out. Nobody lives there, and they're building and building and building. You'll find an explanation online that they're doing it for their economy, and they just keep building because it's part of their kind of Ponzi scheme to keep building and get industrial money and all of this, and it very well could be. Press 1 if you think that it is because it is some sort of backup thing. Press 2 if you think that it is what they say it is, or press 3 if you think it's something else, but it's nefarious. And then we've got Bling Grammy in the house. Says, hello, Foogle family. Thanks, Mrs. Marf and Mrs. Dex. That is awesome. I know, everybody forgets about your wife, Dex. She has to put up with you. So that's basically why they're saying thank you to her. And then, by the way, his mic.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah. Now I'm going to get comments saying, you're so mean to Dex. Your mic wasn't on. I'm sure you would have responded earlier.
Yeah.
By the way,
that's funny.
Me and Dex mess with each other a lot. So we don't mean, we're best friends on and off camera. So don't worry about us. What was that, Dex?
Yeah, that's exactly right. The stuff we do off camera, it's like we're brothers, or like we're siblings that like to pick on each other. So yeah, it's totally good. But no, all the thanks to my wife. I want to give her thanks. That woman puts up with me, and I think you said it best. Behind every great woman is a guy asking for forgiveness, probably.
Yeah. Yeah, behind every woman is a man. Behind every great man is a great woman. Behind every woman is a guy saying, oh, I'm sorry. Love from Scottsdale says, all things Athena. I love that name. Jeannie of Chandler. I'm sorry. I've said your name a million times. Jeannie Chandler, thank you. Toadman, I love Jesus forever. Scooby-Doo, do right. Thank you, guys. I appreciate that. Lori G, I appreciate you as well. Sandy Bollinger, thank you for the support. Hashtagger says, what is the NZ event? I hear it mentioned a lot. The NZ event was where it was live streamed from a religious place of worship, and it was a guy with a GoPro on his head, and he went in and did some horrible, horrible things. New Zealand changed, I believe they changed several laws. If you're from New Zealand, maybe you can let us know what laws changed after that event. But after that, they would not let you stream from a cell phone. All of YouTube changed their policies. So you couldn't just start a new YouTube account, which, by the way, if you're in YouTube right now and you are commenting, you have the ability to make, you have a channel. That is your channel. You can upload videos right now if you want. In fact, if you press the plus on your phone. So a lot of people don't even realize they actually have a YouTube channel, and you are the owner of that channel. Just as if you own a business, you own that channel. That's your business. You can do with you what you want. But what they did is they changed it so you could not just go live from a fresh account, which hurts a lot of people too. There are people that say they don't do YouTube, but they see this crazy event happening and they want to they want to archive it. They can't do it live. Which, just to remind you, you could upload it, but then again, then it goes through things, and if they don't want it seen, it's not going to be seen. It will all probably make sense at some point. Speaking back on the asteroid Apophis, which a lot of people believe will hit, and they're just saying it's not going to. Again, that's up to you. The near-Earth object NEO, made of both rock and metal, will continue on a path around the sun. However, well-interested spectators can watch through their telescopes or using a live feed with images of the asteroid using European-based Virtual Telescope Project. Scientists are monitoring Apophis's diameter, velocity, and other factors. It says they'll use planetary radar, although no longer having access to Puerto Rico's Arecibo Observatory radio telescope. It says as a kind of sonogram to detect the asteroid's shape, orbit, and whether or not there are boulders on its surface. So I think it's kind of, I wonder why they specifically put that in there. Does it make a difference? If you know the answer to this, let me know. I'm always learning and always wanting to learn about this stuff. Why are they, why do they want to know? I can understand why the shape, right? Why would they want to know if there's boulders on it? Maybe if they have to hit it at some time in the future and it, breaks apart, I guess. I don't know. That might sound dumb. Probably is. But if you know the answer to that, why? I guess for scientific reasons, right? Some believe there's a chance Earth's gravity will be strong enough to scatter oh gosh, really? Boulders or stretch the rock, the site reported. Can we just forget that I just didn't read ahead on that one? The asteroid, which was first discovered in 2004, will make another trip near Earth in April 2029. Apophis is projected to hurl by Earth, just about 19,000 miles away, according to the Planetary Society. It's a distance that's around 90% closer to Earth than the Moon. So think about how big it is, and we actually showed you a video the other day that shows you the real scale of it. It is a big rock, right? It's much bigger than any of the other. We've had smaller objects than it actually become little mini moons. They hit, and if they hit the right place, they'll actually go into our gravitational pull. Or this is what they say, right? This is going to be 19,000 miles away, whereas the moon is over 200, 300,000 miles away. This thing's incredibly close compared to this. 20,000, 90%. So I believe, yeah, that's incredibly close. Now, if they are off with those measurements, would it make sense why they are making things like space nations like Asgardia, where all these real elites are actually doing the legislative paperwork and doing everything to actually be a legitimate nation in space? Would this be why all of a sudden just we went from, we don't care about space to we're going to go to Mars and terraform it, and we need to get to the moon by 2025, and we need a space force? Or do people think that that's the previous president's he wanted to do something cool and start Space Force? Space Force. I don't think so. Somebody says cannot compute. Space popcorn, lasers. LOL, melt the rock, stretch it, maybe. Hope it lands on my head, says Jenny, Texas. Well, probably a good lawsuit out of that. You could probably, by then, you'll probably be suing Microsoft because they'll own the world. How big is the comet? It is 1,000 feet across. So to put that in perspective, the Space Needle is about 600 feet. It's about 400 feet taller than the Space Needle. It's big, and it's big enough to do serious, serious damage. Or Cheryl from Daytona, it's about as big as Sharknado. Force of nature, what's up, Rambler? Just 1,000. Eek. Exactly. That's no little guy. So a lot of people say, well, it's just 1,000 feet. Well, 1,000 feet going anywhere from 20,000 to 80,000 miles per hour will be the equivalent of millions of tons of TNT. It will be way, way stronger than a nuke. We're talking about, possibly hundreds of nukes all at the same time. And the dust that it kicks up into the air could cover the earth, or at least big parts of it, and could block out the sun, stopping all vegetation and growth and, all the good stuff that we need. Somebody says planet killer. I don't know. I don't know if they've changed it, if it is a planet killer, but I think it's a planet changer. That's what I think that would be. Says 35 times 35x 1,000 of TNT. Oh, there's too many meteors, so let's shut down all observatories. El Tesoro says, do you remember when Sunspot Observatory mysteriously closed down and they said the story? And then the weird part is they said, oh, well, this is related to that. We had Black Hawk helicopters above Sunspot. We had all of that because it was this child thing that happened, right? But mysteriously, 6 other observatories around the world shut down. Arecibo, which had a big part in spotting these things, just had one thing after another in like a month or 2 months' time, just got completely destroyed, almost sabotaged. Just saying. It was weird. And then we have a huge UFO spotted hovering over Las Vegas by multiple witnesses as videos emerge. Hundreds of people have witnessed a baffling series of lights over Las Vegas, flooding Twitter with videos and pictures of the bizarre UFO. The lights were spotted by people on different sides of Sin City on Monday evening. And it says one video posted on Twitter by SDs shows the 4 lights seemingly hovering in a straight line in the distance above the Circa Casino. After more than 30 seconds, the lights seemed to disappear one by one. Circa told the news outlet Mystery Wire that the lights had nothing to do with them. Another clip shared by a witness, Wade Clevenger, says that the objects shows it closer up, with at least 5 of the orbs seen. Spooky stuff. It says the upletter also claimed one of the lights disappeared. UFO hunting group Contact Tour also shared a video to their Twitter of the site with a man behind the camera asking, what the F are those? Speculation has risen or rife on social media over what was behind the mysterious lights. Many claim the objects were authentic UFOs, while others suggested that they could be military flares. Yeah, or bog water or whatever they call them. Very well could be. I mean, anything is possible now. Nellis Air Force Base lies on the outskirts of Las Vegas and very well could have been to blame. But one man who works for the Department of Homeland Security told Mystery Wire that the lights bear no resemblance to the military flares he has experienced in the past. He said that his mother-in-law saw a mass behind the lights, like it was one large object and not separate aircraft. And then check this out. It says, but the Federal Aviation Administration finally revealed what they were yesterday. So check this out. They said that the lights were seen from the Las Vegas Valley were flares from the Northwest military ranges. It's not the first time Vegas locals have claimed to have witnessed UFOs hovering above the iconic city. And it says 3 lights appeared in the skies in August 2020. So do you believe, and again, I'm going to ask, press 1 if you believe the official story that these were flares. And again, if you've seen flares, they drop, that we've actually shown you videos of those. If you've seen that, 1, if you believe that these were flares, or 2, if you think that they are just making that up. Frank Rio, lots. There's a couple 3s. There you go. Lots of 2s. Let's see if we can actually see the... Let's see if we can actually see the part of this here. Hold on. And then Dex, right after this, we're going to talk about the first look inside. I'm gonna try to pull it up. But first off, first look inside new supersonic jet that could fly from London to New York in 90 minutes. This, we used to have the supersonic jets, of course, the Concorde, and they got taken out because of the accidents that happened. They just said they're just not safe. They are now talking about this thing again, where in an hour and a half you could go from, from London to New York. I was thinking from like Seattle to New York. Think about that. London to New York in an hour and a half. I wonder how fast that would mean you could get to from somewhere like Seattle to New York, opposite ends of the country. I wonder how many miles is that? Look at all those twos. Angel Webster says bullsh. Marcus 81 says 2. Yeah, doesn't believe it. Shannon Henry doesn't believe it. Daco Togs doesn't believe it. Linda Sloat. Raquel R. There was actually several. So let's see here. That's the thing. They posted videos of them on Twitter. Now I'm going to try to stop this just in case, or mute it. So Raquel says it's a shame they didn't get it. But there's actually several videos. That's why people don't think it's flares. What we're gonna do is we're gonna link this video on marfooglenews.com so you can actually see this. And then of course they're gonna try to play an ad here. So I'm not gonna play their ad, but I'll try to do this after the next caller. And if it's not possible, then go over to marfooglenews.com and you can watch the videos. On Twitter, there's actually more. There's a lot of videos of this on Twitter. So once you see that, I bet if you did press 1, you'll probably be saying 2. If you've seen military flares, they usually drop off or they drop behind planes. And that's what I think they're talking about, is the flares that you would, if you have a heat-seeking missile behind you, you would drop the flares. This does not look like that at all. I don't know, Dex. What did you think about that?
I mean, what, did they flares with parachutes so they go really slow and stay in the sky?
Yeah, and hover and do shapes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, move around.
There's no way. I mean, that's just stupid. After you see the video, it's pretty hard to say flares, unless they're, like you said, flares with rockets on them.
If we weren't in the times we're in now, and Vegas being Vegas, I would say it was a publicity stunt. But
well, if it was in Dubai, if it was in Dubai, I would be like guaranteed this is some oil tycoon publicity stunt. Like, they projected a giant double moon into the sky onto a huge net so nobody could see the net. So people genuinely thought there were planets up in the sky. Then they put up social media videos, which got everybody stirring and tripping out, thinking, oh my gosh, planet, this is here and all that. But that was a publicity stunt, by these oil tycoons. They've done a lot of those over there, but here, not so much. And it is Las Vegas, but I don't think so. Let's go to the next caller. We have, looks like, hold on here. Looks like we have 11 Pagan 11.
Hello?
Hi, 11, are you there?
Hello?
Hi, 11, are you there? 11, can you hear us? Dex, I don't know if you can...
Yeah, she was there, and I could hear her. I could hear you. I don't know. Hang on one second.
The problem is she can't hear me. We can get George on, and then we can go back.
11 Pagan, you're
Hello?
live.
Hello, can you hear me?
Hello, Adam. Hi.
Hey, I guess you figured it out. Talking about the earthquakes.
No, I was pushing the... Yeah, I was pushing the buttons, but it wasn't going through for some reason.
All right, so what do we got here?
Yeah, I was just calling about the big quakes that we had in NZ today, and where the plates or where the quakes originated from, and where exactly they pinpointed on. They were on a Pacific plate boundary, and I sent the picture to Dex on a DM through Discord, and I also sent a picture of some of the damage that happened over there.
Okay,
and
so
right there.
Yeah, we have the Australian plate, and then the northern Hikurangi margin, and the central Hikurangi margin, and the southern. It hit all. It basically checked all the boxes there on the Alpine Fault.
Yeah, it did, and that's just it. It hit right on that fault line, and so with the amount of there was 2 7s and an 8 supposedly. That was what USGS is reporting. So just reiterating that all of that pressure, those 7s add up. And so all that pressure is headed this way. And with what's coming in on Friday, the time frame about basically adds up. So the West Coast needs to be paying really good attention from Friday evening to about Sunday. And so I just wanted to narrow the window down for a few folks.
And if you don't, there's again, Dutch Sense does a pretty good explanation. A couple of years ago, he still has the video up of why it moves down, and how his predictions work. In fact, he kind of shows you how to do it yourself even. But there's a lot of great stuff there as far as, movement. This is a huge movement. These are 2 gigantic plates, and anytime there's movement, the force has to go somewhere. It has to move. It has to keep going. So, pretty trippy.
Yeah, and you covered a lot of stuff whenever the show first started. So it was a lot of stuff that I was going to cover with you on the call, but you already did that. So that was just basically it, just for the West Coast people that, I mean, of course, other people along the way, but I just happen to live on the West Coast. And so the whole Cascadia thing, that's my thing too, along with a few others, So that was just it, was just trying to, narrow it down for people, because that's who I watch and follow is Dutch, and he's the one who taught me. So I was just trying to narrow it down a little bit more for folks, and just, remind everybody that pressure does have to go somewhere, and that just to have your bags ready and be looking for that pressure within 5 to 7 days.
Well, thank you, Pagan, for the heads up, and 11 Pagan 11. I appreciate you. And is there one more thing you want to say before you go?
Yeah, I just want to shout out the Frugal fam and tell everybody hi. I miss you guys so much. I've just been working a lot, and I look forward to getting back into my videos soon. Thanks a lot, guys. I appreciate all your support and love the Frugal fam.
All right. Well, you have a great night. 11, have a blessed one, and don't be a stranger. And then, let's see. We're going to get back into the news. Let's see here. I think I missed somebody. Johnny Dundalis. Oh, Johnny Dundalis. Thank you for going over to Patreon. Thank you for joining on the dollar level. I appreciate that. Bill I. Jean says, praying for you all. We're not promised tomorrow even another minute. And then Terrence Williams went over to PayPal during the show and says, hey, guys, doing a great job. Thank you for everything you do. Thank you, Terrence, and appreciate you for you going over there. Let's see here. We've got George on deck. They're going to be talking about, he's an electrician, and he's going to be talking about EMP here in a second here about Colorado. All right, and if I can... Okay, this is where it gets kind of dirty here. Is says I is behind ecotourism oil spill in the Mediterranean. It says that is accusing I of being behind it. And it says Israel is actually telling them after a tanker spilled tons of oil in the Middle Eastern or the Eastern Mediterranean last month. And it says that the ship was smuggling crude oil from I to Psi, if you know what I mean. Now, again, if you don't understand why I'm doing this, somebody in chat will explain. When it spilled its cargo in early February, Environmental Minister Gila Gemyil on Wednesday claimed that this was an intentional attack without providing evidence. Today, the junior minister and the Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu liked parties doubled down, claiming it was an act of tea or ism to kill off Iz's marine life. So they're trying to say that they're doing this to take out their animals. If that was true, just saying for anybody to do that kind of thing for that reason, it's just like, why? Why are people just humans are just, sometimes it's just, I don't understand it. People are so petty. I mean, if you really break it down, thousands of years of being petty. It's pretty sad. Loch Nessie, it says, in a world full of lemons, thank you for making lemonade. Well, I like to say maybe sugar water. Do you believe that they did it on purpose? What do you think? Put it in the comments below. You can access the rest of that article on marfooglenews.com. And then we have the eye claimed to have active cells in Washington, D.C. Remember, this same country had Soleimani taken out last year or a year and a half ago. No, it should be, we just hit the 1 year anniversary not too long ago. So just over a year ago, Soleimani was taken out. Soleimani was taken out because our previous president said that they 100% had solid intel, which nobody has disproved, by the way. Nobody has come against that. So that means they had absolute solid intel that they had planned an attack that made September of 2001 look like chicken feed. They said that that would be a walk in the park compared to what this country has planned for us. And that is why they took out Soleimani. Remember, that day they had 2 attacks planned. They were going to take out Soleimani, and they were going to take out his second hand in command. They missed the second guy. They simultaneously did this attack because you have to have the moment of surprise, and they missed the second guy. The intel was bad on the second one, and they missed. So that gentleman, the second in command, is still around and most likely continuing the plan. Now we have covered all sorts of things like the hack, SolarWinds, that actually hacked all 5 of our military branches. Everything, including the Pentagon, Space Force, CIA, NSA, pretty much every 3-letter agency, DHS, DOD, it's all been accessed. On top of all the Fortune 500 companies that most likely have all of your info, all of your profiles, all of your emotional profiles that they've done without you knowing, their algorithms that have tracked what you like, what everything. All of that information, of course, is part of that. But back to the point, they are now claiming to have active cells in DC. Some are saying that maybe this is some sort of, prop in Uganda. Maybe to further justify, say, why there's fences around places. I don't know. That was one that I just heard today. But knowing what we know about Tennessee and what happened just a month ago, 2 months ago, I don't think this is false. In fact, I'm pretty sure this is not false, and it's not just Washington, D.C., it's all over the country. We covered something. We had Dex, do you remember what we covered? We had some statistics that said one in every 100.
Yeah, I believe it was the ones that were coming in, I guess, non-legally, that 1 in
100.
1 in 100 was a sleeper, right? And it was a pretty big number, whatever it was. It was still, to think that many as a percentage of the people that were coming in were potentially a sleeper, and that was coming from official estimates.
Yeah, so just so you don't... this is in 2018, guys. They're called sleeper cells. They could be on the bus next to you today. They could be on the last flight of their life tomorrow. It says, these eye-backed sleeper cells have infiltrated the U.S. You can't really get more clear than that. That was 2 years ago. Of course, they say, oh, well, it hasn't happened yet, right? Some of these plans take decades. And they're on a whole different scale than some of this little stuff. So when our government came out and told us that they were planning something so massive that it would change the world. It was a world-changing event. To me, that sounds like, maybe our whole power grid going down. It would make sense why SolarWinds and all of this stuff happened, why Black Start was accessed. Why was Black Start accessed? Think about what they accessed, what they were going after. Oh, and if you want to be creeped out, and this is unfortunately this is going to creep some people out. Specifically, we covered a lot of these things, and in fact, a lot of this stuff comes to the surface and we see it. We actually know. They catch it afterwards, but it doesn't matter. The damage is already done. They hacked into Florida, they hacked into Louisiana, they hacked into Georgia, they hacked into a few other states, and what they hacked into is what's important. They hacked into utilities like water, they hacked into power places, they hacked into all these places, and they hacked specific areas of their computers, very, very specific areas where they could make pass cards, where they could actually make, key cards. You're talking about where they could make identities, where payroll, where they could add somebody on as an employee, give them a pass, give them a background, give them an employment date. Why do you think that they would need that? Why do you think that they would need to already be in the system? So they give them whatever name they're going to go by. They're an employee. They were hired by HR in Texas, and they're here in Louisiana. And, well, there's his clearance letter right there. He's got it. Oh, and he's got his key card. Okay, go to work. Go to work watching our water supply, or go to work, watching the most dangerous chemicals in the world. Or, hey, go do your maintenance, in official city government clearance maintenance on, say, the water pipes at a nuke plant or something. Pretty trippy. Loch Nessie, thank you. So what do you think is going to happen? This is why we ask people to prepare. It's all coming down to the wire. And then we have the police request 60-day extension of the NG troop presence at the U.S. We'll call it the cap, right? This whole thing is weird. And if you also remember what the former president said that they had planned, would it make sense why there's a fence around it? Maybe.
This is what I said last show, right? I was like, if they extend this, then I'll think something's up.
Oh my gosh, you did.
I said, no. I said, nah, this will be over, after today. Today was, the day, but nothing happened, and I didn't expect anything to happen. And I said, hey, give it a few days after, and it should be done. But look what comes out today.
Do you guys remember the last thing he said about this? Isn't that a trip? And they just today came out and said they're extending it. It says the CAP police have requested that members of the National Guard continue to provide security at the U.S. CAP for another 2 months. The Associated Press has learned, and it says the defense officials say the new proposal is being reviewed by the Pentagon. The request underscores the continuing concerns about security and the potential for at the cap. 2 months after, yeah. And it says a possible plot by a militia group to storm the building. I'll let you guys go to that yourself. MarfoogleNews.com. And let's get our next caller, George, on the phone. We're going to get him on the horn. Electrician and thoughts on power grid and importance of EMP protection. And then let's see here. Marvin Boggs, creep us out, Marv. We can handle it. Well, you're adults. That's what it should be like. If you want to watch it, you can. All right, George, you're live on Marfoogle News. What is going on, and how are you doing tonight?
How's it going, brother? I'm doing good. How are you?
So you said you're an electrician?
Yes, I'm an electrician out of Colorado. And, I just want to call and let everybody know the importance of the EMP shield.
Okay.
Because we really need it, because not only that, but we need solar generators. Because if and when the system does go down, you're going to need a solar generator to fire everything back up in your house, because we're not going to have any power going to the house after that. Everything's going to be fried. So what good is an EMP shield if you can't turn everything back on? And a solar generator, I don't care which one you get, there's some good ones out there, but it will fire everything back up. You know what I mean?
So as an electrician, have you installed stuff like this on people's houses?
We have. Well, I do it more at a commercial angle, but I do side jobs and I put them in people's homes and stuff like that too. But the power grid really frightens me, man. It's just so fragile. And if there is a big event, you're going to need a solar generator to turn on those items that you saved with your EMP power shield. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Because everything's going to be fried. It's going to take them years to fix the system and improve it. You know what I mean?
Let me ask you this: Have you seen any commercial businesses that are worried about it? Have you seen anything that has been alarming to you?
I have seen some commercial businesses starting more and more to get into it, but not as many as I'd like. I'd really like the people in the homes to really do it. You know what I mean?
Are you talking
more
in like the old folks' homes, like nursing homes and things like that?
Yeah, absolutely. Old folks' home, nursing homes, everybody's homes should have an EMP. You know what I mean? It's just real frightening because it's our system. I don't think people understand how fragile it is. It's very fragile, but you have to have a solar generator too. And not only that, but let's say the power did go out and you have you have solar panels on the top of your house. Well, you're going to stand out like a sore thumb because everybody's going to be pitch black and they're going to say, hey, that guy has power over there. So you want to be discreet. You want to be laid low. That's why you need a solar generator, just enough to keep you going, to power things up, and but not stick out like a sore thumb, because you will stick out like a sore thumb, and you're going to get
hold on, though.
Yes.
Hold on.
You know
So, I mean? So if you have any kind of generator, this is the scary thing is a lot of people worry about you are the only one on the. Say you protected everything. And then you've got your generator, you start up your generator and power all your devices that you'd saved from the EMP, but now you have that motor running in your backyard and everybody knows you have a generator. That's scary.
A solar generator is quiet, though. They don't make any noise.
Yeah, but how much power do they put out?
Solar generator is... I'm sorry?
Are they capable?
Put out enough power with at least 6 120 plugins, so that's enough to get by. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
enough for a space heater, maybe for your fridge, a light, some devices. But you don't want to stick out like a sore thumb. And that's the good thing about a solar generator is they're quiet. They don't make any noise.
Yeah, but how much do they cost? Are they expensive?
A good one's about $1,500.
Yeah, which nobody.
But that's not bad though.
Not a lot of people have $1,500 right now, especially with CV.
I know.
That's what's so.
Well, there's a lot of different ones out there, and they range for a real good one's $1,500, but you could find one out there for $200-300. You know what I mean?
Well, no.
And then what you can do is you can upgrade with solar panels.
Well, as an electrician, do you have any, is there any other tips that you have for people? Because most people don't know about anything electrical.
Yeah. Well, what you can do is you can Google it up, Google solar generator, and there's hundreds of different ones out there with different prices, and they all have, if they're on sale, they've been certified and this and that, and you'll find one that fits your budget. But just please, if you're going to get an EMP shield, it's very important to get a solar generator as well.
Well, okay.
Because the EMP shield will be no good if you can't fire your stuff back up.
Is there anything that people can do for almost nothing or nothing if they can't afford an EMP shield? Is there anything else they can do to protect their wiring or anything? Is there anything to make it short? I can go into a long thing, but to make it short, there's something called a Faraday cage, and you can protect your devices inside a Faraday cage, and you can also protect your home in a Faraday cage. Go ahead and Google it and start researching, and you could do it. It's very, very cheap. It's very important. If you can't afford, would you have to put a cage on your house though, or what would you do?
No. There's a certain type of paint that they sell where you can put a Faraday cage around your house. Like I said, Google. There's a lot of information on there. You just got to do research and find out, and you can do it. Like you could put all your devices inside a Faraday cage. It's like a little metal box. But your devices have to be turned off when they're in there, because if there's an EMP, it will fry everything. You know what I mean? So it's the best thing to do is get the EMP shield. It's like a no-brainer. You know what I mean? But there are ways to make a Faraday cage.
Well, hey, George.
And I'd like to say, man, I really give you a shout out, man. You do a good job, and I appreciate the work you do, brother.
Hey, well, thank you.
And I do have a YouTube channel, man.
Well, another question in Colorado, if somebody wanted you to install them for them, would you do that?
Absolutely.
You should put
Absolutely.
Did you know in Discord we used to have where Foogles could go and support a Foogle business before they support somebody else? So say if you, George, had a tire shop, the Foogles would go and go, hey, does anybody have a tire shop, and support you over supporting some corporate business or supporting you over somebody else.
I gotcha. Okay, you know what? If anybody's living in Colorado and they want the EMP put up, go ahead. I have a YouTube channel. You can leave your information on the last video I posted, and I'll do it for next to nothing. Buy the EMP, cover my gas to get there, and maybe make me a sandwich, and I'll do it for you.
And a 6-pack of beer.
How about that?
Well, here,
I don't drink, but
okay, I'm pulling up your.
I have a YouTube channel.
I'm pulling it up right now.
Yeah, I changed my life, man. Those days are gone, brother.
Thank you, Dex. Okay, so I'm going to pull it up. Make sure to love Mob. Again, you sound like a great guy. George, thank you for calling. If it is your first time, don't make it your last.
It is. Yeah. Okay.
And don't be a stranger, okay?
All right, brother. Well, God bless you and everybody out there. And like I said, go ahead if you're in Colorado. I haven't posted for a while because I had, 2 strikes already. I try to spread the gospel and tell the truth, and you know what happens when that happens.
Yeah, I already see why.
Anyway, go ahead.
Yep, I see the third video over is probably why. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I get it.
But hey, I just try to spread the truth, and I try to spread the gospel, and you know what, everybody out there, stay positive because we win in the end, and it doesn't matter what you're going through, you can always pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and keep going, and don't let everything frighten you, because we win in the end. As long as you have Christ on your side, you will prevail.
Well, George, thank you so much for calling in, and we're all going to be love mobbing you. It looks like people have already done so. Again, the channel name for George is Soldier for God, and it is halfway to 1,000. So give him a hand. We get him over 1,000. He can live stream. Looks like he is very active, and he's putting a lot of effort. So again, go over and support him. That is what I like to see is when you put a lot of effort into your stuff, people will come, and you will get a chance. I know it and I believe it. Especially when your heart is in the right place. Marvin Boggs, thanks again. Very much appreciated. Special shout out. Thank you to several people tonight. Gone Girl 777, Amy R, Kelly 2334. Thank you all for your support this month. You guys are all up there on the top 5 supporters. Thank you so much. And then Susan Donahue, much love. Let's see here. Let's go over to here. We've got Rapture Soon 2020, Tower Bear. Some people are just a-holes. That is very true. Shout out from Texas, hoping for warmer weather. That is right. Rapture Soon, the swamp runs deep with all kinds of rats. PG1093 says type I for the super wives of these 2 guys. That's awesome. PG1093, thank you for, of course, being just awesome. You've been here for a long time, too. Thank you for watching almost every show. Hughwism, military draft is coming back, says Hughwism. And then, not previous P, he is still my P, no puppet. And then Geisy Hexagonal Peach, the truth is out there is in the house. Hey, Ed G. Whalen, it's nice to see you almost every night. I don't think you've missed a show lately. Rare Breeds, Bear Claws, Amy Ray, thank you. A lot of people have not missed a lot of shows. Papa Julio, thank you for following. Welcome to the Foogle fam. If you do see a new follower, make sure to say welcome and just let them know that this is a really awesome place to be. Kalizzy, Bear Claws, Nan and Deborah. If you guys can, make sure that you check if that like button is broken over on YouTube. And then looks like we just had somebody, Chelsea72. Thank you for subscribing. That is much appreciated. Now you have your Marfia badge. And let's go over to Andrea. Wait a second. No, it looks like Donovan Big Sweet York. Donovan Big Sweet York. I think that's right. Donovan Big Sweet York.
Hello.
What is going on? And calling from Indiana. Donovan, go ahead. You're live.
That's correct. Okay. Well, first off, I want to let you guys know I love every single one of you from the bottom of my heart. You, Dex, you guys, you're doing the work that needs to be done, and it's hard work, and it gets you singled out. But you know what? Let's stand out and let's stand proud about doing it, right?
Absolutely. So you have an experience.
Well, there's a couple things I want to talk about. Good.
No, we're waiting. We want to hear about your experience.
Sorry about that. Okay. Well, I want to start off with this one first. Okay, at the beginning of the C to the V, it was like 2 weeks after the announcement. I went to bed after meditating, and I had this dream. Now, let me tell you, when I have dreams to where I can taste, touch, feel it. It's almost as if it's reality. As a matter of fact, there's many times I've woken up and not even known that I thought it was reality, as a matter of fact. But in this dream, I met this dark-skinned, beautiful hair, dark, and we fell in love, had a son. Our lives played out, right? Something happened, and I felt like I was being pulled from her, and the love that I felt, I haven't felt from anybody here. Like, I feel singled out, it's just hard to explain, I guess. But the only thing I do is I'll scream my name, come find me, my address. I know it sounds weird, right? But it's true, and I swear. I woke up and I was bawling, and I went running outside, and I dropped to my knees because it was like that real. And I was like, my God, I had such great love, and it was pulled from me. Why? So about 4 or 5 weeks ago, I get a message on Facebook, and this woman said that she meant to send the message to somebody else, but it went to me. And we started talking, we vibed, and so she sent me a picture of her, and I swear that it was the woman in my dream. And that night, I started having dreams where we were in love. This is a previous life, and as a matter of fact, the life we had was and down in the bottom of the ice cap. I don't know if you guys can't say it, but anyway, there was this big deluge of water because there was a pool shift, and that's where I remember, us being together. And you can't tell people stuff like this because it's like my family. They don't get it. People just don't get it. They're just so asleep. I don't know what to do. Such sadness that people just can't wake up.
Well, there's a lot of people that are, of course, trying to be asleep and they don't want to wake up. Well, so what are you saying? You saw a flood or saw some sort of premonition? Is that what you're saying, or?
No, in the previous life, there was a pole shift, and that's and it wasn't where it is now. It was around where like Australia is and stuff, right? So the pole, it's okay, like. Oh my God, what was that? Anyway, so it was like a big deluge. It was a wave because, try to put a tub in the back of a pickup truck and slam on the brakes, see what happens. You know what I mean? It was just like whoosh, and this wave of water was just, and it froze instantly.
Now,
so once that all melts down there, people will see that there's,
It also says that you were taken at some point. Is that right?
Yes, I'll make those real quick. The first time, happened like in 2008, though. There were 3 blonde people. There was this blonde woman. She was beautiful. She did not speak. And the ship, it looked almost like the S9s or the S8s. You know what I'm talking about, over there in Texas. It's like that kind of shape, right? And I woke up in like a med room or something. And I remember him saying he's awake. And I sat up, and the experience, it felt like it was like nostalgic, like they were coming to visit me. And I don't know, like.
And by you're saying UFOs or aliens, right?
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying I think they were Pleiadians, is what I'd say.
Or the blonde, or the whatever the
mm-hmm.
the Norwegian, or not Norwegians. What are they called?
No, they're from the star system, Pleiadian,
Yeah,
but
they look like us, right?
Yeah, absolutely. They look just like us. And the female, she did not speak with her lips. It was like, but you could hear her in your head. It was weird. So it was like they came to visit me, right? And I cannot forget just the feeling that I got from it all. And I'm telling you, there's a video. What is it on YouTube? It's The Truth Can Change Your Life. Look at those 3 blonde people on there. Those are them. And I had this dream, if you want to call it a dream. It wasn't a dream, but I know what a dream is. This happened way before I even knew about YouTube. I didn't even mess around with YouTube back then, right? I had other plans, other things going on. So now I want to get to this other one, and it was the most important one. And this happened like 2 years ago. I was laying in bed. My fiance was asleep, and I remember waking up feeling like there was a presence in the room, but I couldn't see nobody. I couldn't move, but whatever it was invisible. Picked my left leg up and dragged me off the bed. I felt like I was cattle. Like I was just, I don't know. They had no respect for me whatsoever. They dragged me off the bed in through the kitchen into the bathroom and stood me up in front of the mirror. I remember seeing my reflection in the mirror. And the next thing I remember, I was in this ambient lit room and couldn't move. My eyes, I could move my eyes and I could almost see behind me. And there was this like telescopic stick, or it was like a metal stick that it had 3 probes on it, like in the shape of a triangle. And they went in my shoulder. And I don't know if it was like a chip in me or whatever it was.
That
I
actually,
felt the pain.
there's a question that I have then, because that's a question I usually try to ask is, if you say that you've had an experience and possibly had one where they did anything, do you have any marks that are left over? A lot of people say that they still have marks on their bodies.
Can I tell you?
Yeah, go ahead.
I swear to God, I woke up and remembered it, and I had my fiance take pictures of it. And to this day, she does not remember taking the pictures, and I cannot find the pictures. They are gone. And please believe me, I'm telling the truth. You know what I mean? It's how I swear on my soul, this happened. You know what I mean?
Well,
what the hell?
It's not, there's going to be people that say they don't believe it, or they do believe it, or they've had the same experience. That's the thing. Sometimes it helps just to get it out and to tell people about it. You never know. I'm not surprised by anything anymore. Honestly, there's been so many weird things that I've seen with my own eyes, and nobody would believe me, that I never say, hey, you're full of this or that, because I don't know. Mm-hmm. And you very well could have had. Look at what's happening right now. Look at what the government is doing. They're saying that they are working on craft. They just announced that they recovered craft from, basically they've recovered a UFO, and that the findings will change our lives fundamentally. So it's like, how can we say anything right now? I say wait a few years. Well, we're out of time.
So,
If you can just wrap up real quick, I apologize, but we are closer to the 2 hours.
Channel.
Okay.
I'm starting a YouTube channel. It's called Dreaming Donovan. I haven't put a video up yet. I've got photographs of triangle ships that come out from my house. I just wake up knowing I have to take a picture. I will get it put on there tonight, and it's called Dreaming Donovan. So.
Dreaming Donovan.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Well, see, and that's another thing. For those of you that are interested in that kind of stuff, you will have a place to go. You can go to Dreaming Donovan. There's lots of really great channels in that niche talking about the significance of dreams or the reality of dreams coming into something else. There's whole people that spend all their time.
Idea.
Well, I know, but you probably watch enough to know that somebody commented like, "I don't want to hear somebody else's dream." I'm open for all callers and any callers. Here's the thing. There are lots of people that want to hear your dream. There's lots of people that want to hear your opinion. Okay. There's lots of people that want to hear your stuff. I want to hear your stuff. So thank you so much for calling.
I love you guys. All right. You guys take care. Be safe.
Hey, thank you so much. And again, we'll push people your way, and we're gonna. Dex, do we have the link for his? Because he doesn't have to put a video up for us to have the channel linked, right?
Yeah, I don't have it, but I'll look. It usually doesn't show up in search if there's not a video.
Okay. Well, Dreaming, what we'll do is we'll follow up and we'll put it on there and update it. We'll if it's not up there by tonight, just upload a 10-second video of something, and then we can find it and link it. Okay?
I will promise tonight. Thank you, guys.
You could be the next big dream YouTuber. We have no idea. All right. Well, have a great night and be safe. That was Donovan, Big New York Sweet, I think. Donovan, Big Sweet York. Either way, Dreaming Donovan will be his channel. He said he was abducted. Who am I to say that he hasn't been? Do you guys get what I mean? Like, look at how different things are just in 30, 40 years. There are so many crazy stories out there now, and they're proven because now we have cameras everywhere. You just never know. Linda Sloat, thank you for just multiple times being very positive in the chat. Thank you as well for support. Lou Rock, thank you. Says, I believe him, Lou Rock says. Lou, hey, nice to see you, man. I was just watching your stream the other day. Mama of 3, exactly, I believe. See, there's people that believe. What I was saying is the other day, and I have nothing against, I don't even remember who it was, but they said, I asked for positive and negative feedback, and that's totally cool. I didn't take it personally. But when somebody said, oh, and they basically said 3 things, and I actually took the positive. The last part they said, though, was they said, oh, and nobody wants to hear somebody else's dream. That's assuming. I've always learned a lesson about assuming, but that's assuming that 5,000 people in chat, that all of them don't want to hear somebody else's dream. That's not right. There are people that do like to dream. There's a whole niche on YouTube. People look up nothing but dreams. There's an entire niche. There are just like there's a niche of ASMR or people that listen to people, whispering into the mic. I am going to take these keys and jingle them in your ear. How did you like that jingle? Sorry. It's like 3 people just unsubscribed because of that last slurp. But you know what I mean. There are people that want to see everything. And who are we to say that? I've had apocalyptic dreams since I was 19 years old. And I think they do mean something. And that's just my personal opinion. And people don't have to agree with me. That's the whole point of free speech. That's why we are... If you don't like something, you turn it off. If there's 10 minutes of a 2-hour show you don't like, you turn it off. Switch between it. We don't have attention spans anymore. Switch between 5 other YouTubers and then come back. See? Gigi says, I love ASMR. I have to say, I went down that rabbit hole for like a day because I thought it was so weird. Some guy did 32D sound, and that guy was so weird. But he was creative, and I was like, geez, dude, this guy like probably spent like $10,000 with his studio to make Slurpee sounds. Watcher 2 says no judgment. Exactly. we gotta seriously start pushing each other up, even pushing each other up some of the weird stuff, some of the stuff like, why should we have to hide what we think because we are worried about what other people are going to say about us? That is why almost all of you have a problem, right? You have something that you can't tell other people because you're afraid that they're going to judge you. And guess what? They are going to judge you because people are pricks. There's a lot of rude people out there that are going to judge you. There's people that are going to look at you for how you're dressed. If I wear a hoodie in a store and they follow me around thinking I'm going to steal. Have you ever been followed around a store when they think you're going to... If you have a tattoo, oh, I'm going to follow you. Or check your receipt, but then don't check the guy in front of you, right? That kind of stuff, it's like, there's people like that. So... the Foogle fam, we can start, and you guys can do this in real life and start a chain reaction. We can all seriously work on being awesome. Somebody lets you into traffic, make it a point to let 3 other people in, and even if it slows you down, do good things for other people, and I promise you it will start a huge chain reaction. Let's do it. Our Jacks. Well, somebody says if you don't wear a shame muzzle, right? Yeah. Probably would start a chain reaction. Okay, let's Dex.
Yeah, hey Adam, talking about chain reactions. The caller George had a story and he didn't get to it. He may have forgot or just ran out of time. But he told me that he had helped a homeless person. And went to the grocery store, got him as much groceries as he could put in his tent, and felt good about it and wanted to help him. And then shortly later, he's at the gas station talking to somebody, and that person says, "Hey, you know what? I want to pay for your tank of gas." Totally different person. So it sort of goes around, right?
That's exactly what that is exactly what I'm talking about. Me and my wife pulled over. This guy went around one of those exits that's off the freeway. And there was gravel, and he probably took it too fast. It was probably his fault, but he slid around and he popped his tire and he was on the side. We ended up pulling over, and then I went out and ahead, and because it was in such a dangerous curve, I stood and waved people away, and then I ended up going over and I was trying to look for something so we could tow him, out of this ditch from being backwards and then this dangerous spot. Right away, it was like we helped him, and then the next day we ended up having our flat tire. The neighbors came out and ended up helping us. They ended up jacking us, jacking the vehicle up. They ended up getting stuff. They ended up having an extra spare. It was like we helped. And oh, by the way, with the previous guy, we ended up helping, doing all this, spending time. We were late to what we were going to do, which was a dinner. This van pulled up of about 4 or 5 Hispanic workers. And they cut, I cannot even tell you, they ended up taking their utility van that had like 16 seats, but they didn't have any of the seats in the back. They straight up took one of their own seat belts from the back, and he's like, I have an idea. Goes to the back, he takes and pulls it all the way out, and then he cuts the seat belt out, and he used the seat belt so that it's permanently, he's never going to use it for the seats, right? Because the seats aren't there, and he uses it for utility. So he just cuts the seatbelt out and ties it to the guy's, his whatever, the strut or something, and then ties it to the back of our car. And he used that so we could pull him out. I just thought that was so freaking cool, right? I would have never thought of that, but he goes and cuts his seatbelt out because he's like, I'm not going to use it. But still, even like on a cosmetic side, it's like now you're missing a seatbelt. And when you sell that van, maybe they want the seatbelt. I don't know. But there's good things like that, and it will pass on, and you guys can pass it on too, and we can not be so negative. we can start helping. MRSA1, thank you so much for being the top supporter tonight over on DLive. Thank you again. I really do appreciate it. The truth is out there. And MRSA, thank you for being around a long time. I've been at so many different shows. I can't say thank you enough. And then the truth is out there. You've also been a great supporter of the channel. Thank you for supporting independent. We do not have a multi-channel network. We don't have a team of lawyers protecting us. So thank you, and thank you. Zippy Moons, Tower Bear, and Den Dave, thank you for your support tonight. Everybody on YouTube, my home base, we're going to start doing YouTube-only shows again, too, because that is really, I got some really good feedback from one of my mods, and I don't want you guys to feel like, I guess here's the one thing that, I guess it was Jay that pointed out, Jay Stone said, how can we be a family if we're divided down the middle? Do you guys get what I'm saying? Because there's two different families right now. There's two families. There's DLive and there's YouTube. And I thought that kind of hit me. I'm like, wow. So we do need to have everybody kind of over here and over here. We're going to do both. But we need certain nights where it's like everybody here so we can all hang out and get to know each other, because that's a big part of this. And then when we have the platform where everybody can meet in person and stuff like that, that's going to be a huge thing. So, and I do, Jay as a mod and all the other mods like WV, CJ Blaze, those people helped me. They went through all of the crazy crap that I went through when I started this and when people were attacking me and all that. So those people are like, I'm bonded with them. Those are my friends. I like love those people. They were with me in the beginning, and you guys understand what this vibe was. That was the Foogle fam, and what our cause is and was should never change, no matter what we've changed about the format. So I hope you know that for those of you who do stick around all 2 hours and like hang out, you guys are amazing. Nobody stays, replay watchers rarely stay this long and watch all 2 hours. They stay for whatever they need and they leave. You guys stay the whole time, and that's really cool. You guys are here to actually make friends and be a part of this. So thank you for being a part of something bigger. We're going to change the world in some way, even if it's a little way, and it's all because of you. You are the big power behind this. So thank you. Dex, you are my long walk on the beach. Wait.
Hang on now. Save that one for your wife.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you so much for your service tonight, and thank you for being my internet brother.
Great show, brother. I love you, man.
All right. Have a good night, guys. It's time to go. MRSA1, thank you. You'll be getting a song, top 5 supporters. We're going to do a shoutro. It's not an outro. It's not a shout-out. It's a shoutro. Make something great again. Said awkward. Yeah, that's definitely an awkward. Preparation station says thank you. Marvin Bugs and the Christian Moore. Deep and remember we the people you rock. Marfoogle Nessie and Marvin Bugs hold the line. Patriots hold the line. Thank you all for coming tonight. I really appreciate it. Remember, you can get all of the articles that we had tonight on marfooglenews.com. I love you. Love so much. I said I love. I push and shove. I love too much. Fuse says hello. Trey Granger, hope you see this. Love you. Trey Granger, you better see this. Got the Marvin Boggs and the Christian Morris, the Dean and Bobbin dogs. Everybody's got the songs. Maybe that UFO's the bomb. Hey, everybody knows truth is out there and everybody goes with the flow.
down. I was walking down, Dean, everybody had to found. Everybody now would hear the sound. Fucking sensation, Marvin Balls. Listen more in the rest of the hey, single news, you know everybody knows. Hippie moans and the rest of blows. Hey, I got to go. Yeah. I just wanna know. 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 Mercy, mercy, mercy one all the way. 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 Mercy, mercy, mercy one all